Oh, hello there. You have chosen the listener configuration, and you found yourself listening to another Swimfans mini, a Bloodbath mini, the first ever Swimfans Bloodbath mini. I'm your co-host, Josh McKenzie.
I'm Craig Neeson.
I'm Alex Hocking.
And I'm Danielle Pinette.
Yeah, our slime correspondent's back on the pod.
Here I am.
We had another oozed base topic, and we couldn't do it without Danielle. So
the right amount of red corn syrup flowed on screen, and we were obligated to bring on our ooze correspondent.
It did summon me here. I had no choice. So really, hi. I guess. I don't know. I was in the middle of something, but okay.
That sweet minty gelatin that we all love. And
son of a bitch. But right after we did our conversation about Hellraiser 2, by a sheer alignment of the stars, Hulu released Hellraiser 2022, a new Hellraiser for a new era, and we all wanted to talk about it. Does anybody have thoughts first?
This is a really solid movie. It's easily the best Hellraiser since the second one. It manages to, format-wise, keep it a little closer to the first one, where the Cenobites are kind of like a flavor of the world, but not necessarily like the primary conflict. It keeps like a much more personal kind of story going, and I think it was like a really smart way to kind of like dial it back from like slasher territory where it was.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. It manages to imbue itself with the characters that we kind of love, the Cenobites and so on, while also carrying on its own, I think, unique identity as, this is like treacherous territory, but like a movie as a metaphor for like this like young girl's like drug addiction, and like a shitty enabler boyfriend. So there's like shades of this where like previously we had, sex as being like the primary kind of operative thing and sensation. And we do experience that through the rich man who's been living in his cube mansion for a while. But I think the central kind of core, the soul of this girl that frankly, this actress that carries the film on her shoulders, is really tremendous, like really tremendous performance. And it also has again like a unique identity, her being kind of a fuck up, a kind of perennial fuck up who is like damaging the lives of people around her. And I think it gets to be about Cenobites and about configurations, and it also gets to be about like the fuck up trying not to be a fuck up anymore. Which is compelling.
I mean, I believe I perhaps have the least amount of knowledge of the series in the room right now. But what I liked about this, the way it's put together, is I really like how standalone it is. I love that this movie really takes the time to sort of build like new rules for this movie. They even go out of the way to specify like 6 different configurations that you get to pick from if you solve it, which I found fun. And I like how they just sort of give you like a lot of structure so you can sort of understand the rules of the Cenobites. And so when a story has like that really solid foundation, when you can know what the rules are, then it's all just frosting from there, and you can just enjoy the one that's hands are like sewn together in a prayer position. You can enjoy the Neo Chatterer. You
Shin Chatterer.
You can enjoy, our hot new Pinhead, because all of like the base stuff is taken care of. Yeah, so I mean, most of what I appreciated about this was just giving us that really like modern feeling structure.
I really loved it. I loved like the coalescence of the first and second movie in it. I felt like they gave us that kind of like more dark, smaller plot feel that the first movie was, and they mixed it really well with something that felt so much bigger, which what the second one gave it to us. I really liked both of those feelings being in the movie, so I kind of like I really like the first one for it being the way it is, and I like the second one for it being the way it is as like 2 separate things, but this one really enjoyed like meshing them both together, and so I ended up getting the best of both worlds of those movies in this new one. I absolutely adored it. I'm just like super excited about it. I've already watched it 3 times since it came out, so
Yes.
That is a great point, because it does, like, the first half is a lot more like the first movie, where like the Cenobites are more like lurking, and then the back half of it is more like we enter their world, like in the second one.
Yes, we get both of it. It's so good.
We enter that Lament Configuration themed mansion, and we go straight to hell.
It was like what was it 13 Ghosts too when we're in the
Yes.
house?
It's very 13 Ghosts.
Oh my god, ghost house, ghost trap house, they're all in there. They're stuck outside and then they're stuck inside. Woo! Like I was so jazzed about it.
Yeah, when the Ronaldo, I believe is his name, right? Was like, this is a prison for you. I'm like, I immediately thought of 13 Ghosts in the best way. The idea of like trapping the Cenobites is so deeply charming to me. Pinhead is like stuck between two gates, and he has his hands kind of neatly kind of symmetrical, kind of at his waist like a priest, and he's just like casually waiting for the doors to open again. It's beautiful. And speaking of that, like, this new Pinhead is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I don't know this actor at all, but getting this kind of very interesting androgynous, almost explicitly like priest-like Pinhead, which, listening to Danielle previously, fits completely with the lore. This idea that Pinhead is a kind of an identity or a kind of role that gets adopted like throughout generations. But this particular Pinhead is like diminutive compared to like the masculine Pinhead that we're kind of used to, and speaks a little more like loquaciously or kind of like very, very softly, but very, very sharply in a priestly manner.
So one of the things, there's a lot of interviews about this movie already if you're interested, and a lot of them are actually with the people that play the Cenobites, because they are really pumped about their roles. But specifically her, what was her name?
Jamie Clayton.
Yes. And she was talking a lot about how they really wanted to make sure that while they were making a new reimagining of the movie, that they weren't just kind of copying things. So they wanted to be able to like, okay, I'm Pinhead now, but like, how can I make this my own Pinhead while being influenced and making an homage to the old Pinhead, but at the same time making it a completely new thing? And so there was a lot of talk about like getting in their own headspaces about it, and like, how are they going to portray it? Like, what is the best way to do that? And it's just very interesting to like hear them talk about it and see like kind of where they went with it. I guess a lot of what went into it too was the bodysuits, which are like, they're like complete actual tactile real bodysuits that they were wearing.
They look insane.
Yes, they're made out of like silicone tension bands, so they're actually kind of bound. Yeah, they're actually kind of bound the entire time, so it ended up really playing into what they were doing. They were like super restricted, so it gave this extra like depth to everything that they were doing. I don't know, it's absolutely amazing. If you actually look up the actresses like Instagrams and TikToks, you can find them just like chilling in their suits. Like there's this one of the lady with her like belly. It's the Mother is the name of her. You only get a glimpse of her, but she's just sitting on a couch eating a banana in her like crazy like pregnant suit. It's so cool. They're amazing. So
I need an image of Jamie Clayton in the Pinhead outfit, just like checking her phone or something.
Yeah, definitely there. Although apparently she got really into character on the set. I guess like my roommate was talking about it because they watched it with me, and about how they kind of don't really do method acting lately, or generally ever, but in this particular movie they were doing it. And there's like a part where the director was talking about how they would like look over at her while she was in her Pinhead makeup waiting for her turn, and she was just like standing in this scary pose next to like one of the walls, like the stone walls, with her hand up on the wall, just like waiting, but like in complete full Pinhead garb, and just looking just amazing.
Yeah,
so cool.
If I was wearing that, I would go full Heath Ledger Joker. Like I would be completely. You
all
wouldn't get me out of the suit.
Yeah, I mean, to start there, I really love this new Pinhead. To me, again, my experience is limited, but like there was like a stoicism that the OG Pinhead had, but like I feel like almost like a sadistic glee that's like barely being restrained by the Clayton Pinhead, that I think is such a good flavor, because like she does have that poise that some of you were talking about, and she like definitely has like the gravitas, right? But she also seems to just like enjoy the hooks more.
Yeah.
She seems to enjoy the act of pinheading more than the guy from the original films did.
Doug Bradley.
Yeah, which is very fun to watch on screen for me.
There was the what was your, like you said, like the like enjoying of it, like this kind of like soft, like almost like disciplined enjoyment of what's going on. And the woman that played the Gasp, who is the Cenobite that's kind of modeled after the female Deep Throat with her throat pulled open.
Oh yeah.
I believe she's played by the actress Selena Lowe. Maybe I think that's her name. But she was talking on an interview about like the direction that she was given for the character, and she was saying that there was this one thing that the director told her that really helped her out, and it was when she was delivering the line like save your breath for screaming, I think was the line.
Yeah.
And she said that the direction that she was given was don't like say it like you're saying a lullaby. Like don't say it like you're being sadistic. Just say it to them like you're like kind of giving them a kind like quiet lullaby. And it's just like that kind of this pensive, like disciplined, delicate nature to it. It's just, I don't know, it was just really well done. Like from all the Cenobites, they felt all very thoughtful, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, they feel much more like clergy, at least, you know, I mean, they did have a kind of priest-like quality before, but now they've especially hit the nail on the head.
I mean the Gasp literally has a habit. She's like a nun.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it's like it's made of flesh.
it's explicit now, and you know the moment where, I mean, Pinhead gets so many moments to thrive here, but it's when they've got the roommate, the one that gets trapped in the internal trap house, and the roommate is saying the Lord's Prayer, and Pinhead just has this amazing speech about like, you know, what is it that you want? You know, she responds, salvation. And, you know, like, just it's so delightful to have, like, a BDSM, like, androgynous hell priest deliver with delight these lines. It's just, oh, man, my heart was just, like, singing. Tremendous. Really, really phenomenal. The Cenobites just, like, each one phenomenal. Like the kind of the Chatterer is a little more he feels like slower or kind of like bulkier or like less threatening in the other Hellraisers.
Yeah, he's very agile and like a fucked up scary athlete.
Right, and you know, this is I believe the first time I've seen him actually use his teeth to bite someone, which is horrifying.
Mostly it's for ambiance in the original.
Well, I mean, they have more budget now and could actually like do. I mean, he couldn't even see in the first one. Like he could see this time. I mean, they had been talking about that too for the Chatterer, like how they wanted to do that character, and there was a lot of talk about how they wanted to do it where the character, the Chatterer, had like a lot of excitement for making people feel the exact same way that they felt and like getting at them, and like it made them really threatening in that way. But at the same time, they were meant to be at the same time like super disciplined. They had like this gimp role in a way, like in BDSM, where they were ready and gung-ho to do anything, but they always waited to be told to do it. And so they wouldn't do anything until they were told to do it. And you get that a lot from like, they specifically are more of like the gimp role in BDSM in how they act in that way. And I thought that was really interesting, like reading it too in the interview.
Yeah.
I mean, to like sort of branch off of that, I mean, one of my favorite moments in the film is, well, I mean, I love the lore, by the way, that you have to tick through all 6 configurations to like finish it, which requires 6 people to, I don't know, feed their blood to the cube, which is great. But I love the moment where, you know, faced between a choice between herself and her like hot dirtbag boyfriend, she then stabs the Chatterer and feeds that to the cube. And I love that the Chatterer's like, well, now what? And then and it cuts over to Pinhead, and she's like, pretty sneaky, sis.
We never said, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's just like the faintest smile on Jamie Clayton's face. It is so good. And then she summons the hooks. It's so fucking awesome.
They do that in order to show you like the pure choice that the main character has, because later on she's able to actually, like, we know then that she can choose a Cenobite. And then
Right.
she's in front of a Cenobite, and she's in front of someone. Jamie? No, what was the shitty boyfriend's name?
Trevor.
Trevor.
New
Such a good
shitty
dirtbag name.
new shitty Hellraiser white man. That's it. She has him in front of him and a Cenobite, so she could very easily do the same exact thing and choose a Cenobite again, but she ends up not. And that's like, it really gives you like this sense of power she has in that moment, and like the true choice that she has in choosing him over like stabbing another Cenobite.
Which makes the ending that much more impactful, to refuse their gift, as she kind of puts it, as they put it, because their gifts are perverse. We see two instances of it before the kind of denouement, a decision of like, I'm not making a bargain with any of you, which is, to me, I kind of opened with this, but like, I see the movie as a addiction parable, and I think that like at the end, she overcomes it, or at least is, choosing to, change, having like, even the lines that they deliver at the end. I mean, it's such a beautiful ending. The successor, forgive me, I don't know the Cenobite's name, but the successor to Deep Throat is like, your suffering hasn't begun yet. It's going to be long and bitter, all the lives that you've taken, which is interesting. I mean, like I said, it's its own identity, and it's using the kind of lattice work that we understand of the Cenobites, and it's actually clarifying, as we've said, the structure. And I guess what I'm trying to say is like, one thing that we've always said on the podcast is like, Star Wars, there's like a finite number of things you can do in the Star Wars universe. You can blow up the Death Star, but that motherfucker's coming back. They can't do anything else. It's going to be
they
rinse,
build a
repeat.
bigger one.
Yeah, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. But this shows the flexibility of the Cenobites, and the Cenobites as, foreground and background.
Yeah.
As like actual beings with discrete rules and lore, and also like the malleability of the metaphor. It's sexual. It's relational. This idea of, the brother and the sister, and the fraughtness of being like an addict, and blah 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 blah. It's just, I don't know. It's tremendous. It's really, yeah.
It's incredible what they're able to do with the Hellraiser kind of like mythos here, because like even the lament configuration itself is like more like fleshed out in a way that it's really, really not in the first two. I like what they do with the different configurations, and like that each one has a name and purpose, and there's like a sequence order. Like all of that being fleshed out is so much fucking fun. And like watching her kind of go through the steps of like realizing how you do it, and then like, oh, you have to be given sacrifices to this fucking thing. And then it's like, are you willing to do that? And her kind of like getting there. And I think it works so well with the addiction metaphor as well. Like her getting there and realizing like, oh, I have to just fucking stop. Like there's too many fucking dead people.
Right.
Like, if I keep going, it's going to get worse. And only at the very end does she realize it. And she's sort of like left with the pieces of all of her decision making, which like is so great with that metaphor, and like is so great like with just what Hellraiser is. And like how they're able to like do this completely different story with the same kind of like iconography, which is just gorgeously rendered.
So interestingly, it's sort of, maybe it's just me reading into it, but it's almost sort of foreshadowed earlier in the movie when she is in her car and she takes out her pills and she's looking at her pills, and there's this moment of like silent tension where she is deciding, with everything's going on, should I take these pills because they would help me? And just forgetting and sitting in just nothing void by taking these pills, it'll make me feel better. Should I do it? And then it is that same tension, that kind of pensive tension and uncertainty that she feels is then felt later on in the movie when she's making her choice as to what she wants. And it's the same general thought too, like, do you want us to give you these pleasures? Like, that's the thing in BDSM, like getting pain, feeling pain is forgetting things. Some people get a lot of pleasure from that kind of like being able to float in it, and that like sensing something else. You get this freedom of feeling it. It's just how people feel in doing it. It's like a really important part of the scene. And it's the same feeling towards like the drugs, like that sensation of it, like taking you away from it. Do you want to deal with what's going on, or do you want to just forget about it? And so you get it earlier in the movie, and they foreshadow it in her problem with her addiction, and then you also see it at the end, where it becomes, it's the same exact thing, but like it's now like, it's like you've been given like a visual idea of like this horrible struggle that she's been going through, which she has already been doing through her entire life with addiction, and now it's just very blatant and in front of you, and then she makes like what she and we as the audience hopes is the right choice.
Yeah. And I love also at the end, you know, after dealing with the Cenobites, after losing most people in the movie, after watching like Roland's choice to choose to not engage is still choosing, right? Like and so I love this bit at the end where she's still playing the game. Even by not playing, she's still playing. So it remains this, like, to me, it keeps this feeling that the Cenobites, at least on some level, understand every possible outcome. There's no way, once you've begun the puzzle, there's no way to exit without losing. And so I love that by not losing, she still has to choose, like you guys are saying, this life of regret with her addiction and her choices. And I love the poetry of that then becoming the lament configuration, that by not choosing, she's chosen regret. She's chosen fractured pieces. Like, that to me is just like, it's just poetry. It's so it fits together, like it just dovetails so greatly.
Can we talk about how fucking cool the suits were again?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, because I remember being like bummed that we did, because I love the jackets.
Oh, I know.
I love the jackets from the original.
Jackets are good.
And so
are real good.
And so at first I was like, damn, I kind of wish they had jackets. But like, especially hearing about these like silicone bands you were talking about.
I mean, they do have
so
jackets.
dope.
It's just made out of skin now.
I know, but I loved like the sleek black, but like
yeah.
And so at first I was like, damn, I wish they had the coats. But these looks have really grown on me too.
Yeah, I love what they've done with the Deep Throat successor.
The Gasp.
The Gasp.
Oh, Gasp. Yeah,
wife.
The trachea hole. I mean, it's just so elegant, and I love that the movie uses that Cenobite to ease into the rest of them. So like we see her primarily before we get the reveal of Pinhead. But I love the continuity between all of them. They all have like Pinhead's pins in some form, where like there's like essentially like a glowing like dot or like pearl at the end of each.
It's like a pearl pin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like they all have that in their design somewhere, which
I think what they did is they just wanted them to all kind of match in a way.
Oh yeah, and they did a terrific job of it too, because they feel like deeply cohesive. You know, it's easy to put them all like Matrix style into black leather and have them be a unit, but they're all allowed to have their own kind of design. You know, the one with the flesh strapped over her head is very Silent Hill to me, but nevertheless with the pins it helps like bind them all in a very successful costume design way.
Well, and to me it makes me feel like, you know, to tie into like what Danielle's saying, especially about the BDSM scene, it feels to me like it shows Pinhead owns them.
Oh
right?
yeah,
like they are physically marked by Pinhead.
Yeah. She is the dominatrix, and the rest of them are under her. Yes.
Right.
Thank you. Fantastic. Great, ma'am. Great, ma'am.
Yeah.
I love ma'am.
You have to earn your pins.
You do. I believe all the names of them were the Weeper, which is the one. I believe it's a black woman. I'm not quite sure. They kept them all very genderless while having a gender, but not. I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
But they're the one with like no jaw, and they're the one that the pin is taken out of their eye. That's the Weeper.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And they actually have two different weeps that the actor talks about in the movie, like different sounds that they wanted to kind of go for them, and they're both meant they both mean something to the actor and the director. So if you watch it again and kind of like pay attention to the sounds they're making, they're all like purposefully thought out. Um, and there's the gasp, which is the one with the open neck, where like whenever she talks, she feels pain the whole time, but is enjoying it the whole time. She has like the skin habit. There's the mask, which is one of I really like the mask, which is the one where like he has no head and his face is like a mask that's pulled in the front. Do you notice that guy? His mask is like suspended in front of where his face would normally be, but actually behind the mask he has like only maybe like from his jaw mandible down, he has no upper head at all.
Oh,
to the
dreadful.
design. It's so cool. It is so, you only see it for a moment. It is such a cool design. That's the mask. Then there's the mother, who you only see briefly.
God. Sorry, I'm looking
hands,
it up.
Yes, yes,
so cool.
that design is so cool. Yes.
Wow.
The mother has her hands bound to her like stomach. You only see her for a moment, and then there's the asphyx, which is the one with the skin pulled over their face. And then they get unbound and then they go ape shit. And then there's the Chatterer, obviously.
Obviously.
The
I think-
absolute boy.
The beloved Chatterer, yes. I think that's all of them, other than, of course, the Hell Priest. Yeah, they're all amazing. They're absolutely amazing, and I love them so much. They put so much thought into them, and I love that. I love the addition of the pins. Like, it's a way of like keeping them a unit, like you said, but instead of the leather, it's like these pins that are these like opalescent, kind of like almost ethereal, heavenly white. Like they look very celestial in a way, and it like goes back to them being like demons or angels. Like I really enjoy like the choices that they made for them visually. I think it's just really fantastic.
Just the redesign of the pin. Like it's
Sometimes
you think
it's
it would
that
just
thing, right?
Yeah, it's so small, but like it gives such like an ornamentation, especially to the Hell Priest, where like I don't know, it classes it up a bit in like a really in a really cool, meaningful way.
Bourgeois Cenobites.
Yeah.
Speaking of bourgeois, I love the rich freak in this movie. I love Roland.
Oh boy, hell yeah, boy, he's awesome.
Yeah.
I love. Why would you? Okay, first of all, why would you choose sensation? It's a value neutral word as it is. Why would you think that
What do you think they're going to do?
Why would you think the lady with like a shit ton of knives in her face would give you like a new kind of orgasm and not like and not like something that's absolutely a nightmare? I love
that, but he's like obviously like a pompous ass, so of course he would think he would get something good out of it because he's a
totally.
jerk.
Yeah, and I love that he's like, of course, like just a rich sociopath who's like run out of things to do, so he just has to get new feelings. I love the practical effect of like the clockwork device that like threads his nerves through it.
Oh my god, that thing is so fucking cool. That thing is awesome. The actor was talking about too, just like, how am I supposed to portray this? Like, look at the director, and he's like, I'm pretty sure I'd just be screaming the whole time, but I can't be screaming the whole time. And the director's like, guess you just gotta figure it out. Like, that's literally what the director told him.
He's like, I don't know, man.
I've got some nerve issues, and that one was, I don't know, man. That was a visceral like looking device.
Yeah,
I hated looking at it.
Yeah, I was certainly like, it's definitely a new sensation.
Yeah,
they definitely did what they said they do. It was as advertised.
I mean, seeing the visual of it and then kind of realizing that Roland has been living in his maze mansion for however many years.
Six
while this
years,
thing
my
threads
friend.
Six years.
Yeah.
While this thing threads his nerves through it, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, it's awful.
What were the 6 choices? Leviathan, obviously.
There's a lament configuration. There's the Leviathan. There's lore, which is knowledge.
Yeah.
There's love. I can't remember the word they use for it though. There's liminal. That's sensation. Lazarus is the resurrection, which is the one the main character. And there's Leviathan, which is the last one he picks, which is power. Yes.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't.
It's lament, lore, laudurant, which is love.
Yeah, laudurant. Okay.
Yeah, and then the ones that you said. Yeah.
Yeah. So
The
cool.
Rock. It's so cool.
It's so
dude.
cool. I was like, kept pausing when she's looking through like all of like the papers and stuff. I'm like, oh, what does it say? What does it say? Because they have it all written out. Remember, she's
Yeah,
on his
it's
desk.
dope.
I'm like, holy shit! Can I just like see? Wait a second. Can we please just? I want to read
I
these.
imagine that lore is probably not in the books, or is it?
So that is comic book lore, comic book and
Okay.
and sort of the movies lore. So when they were doing all of this, they actually used a lot of information from the comics and the movies, although it is not like purely taken. Like a lot of it is made up. Like I don't actually like all of the types of the box, the new configurations. I'm not quite sure. I think those are made up. Like there's a lot of it that is actually new. Like it is meant to be a completely new reimagining while using the same like puzzle pieces. Like
Yeah.
it is a new thing, which is what is so awesome. I mean, that's the thing about the lore and this whole universe is there's so many boxes and like puzzle pieces and things and ways for you to make it into whatever the hell you want, and it still
Yeah.
ends up being this amazing visual experience. Like it's just good. You don't have to know all the lore. The lore was just
Right.
made in a way where it makes these cool things that other people can enjoy.
I think it was so smart to do it that way. I think the lore should serve the movie and not the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly right.
Yeah, I'm really excited for. I hope they make more of these with the same cast, the same sort of world, the same interpretation that they've built. I think there's so many more metaphors that the Cenobites can become. Yeah, like Craig was saying, the addiction one really comes through here. I think there's so many more human experiences you can translate into attacks by fucked up guys.
Yeah.
And I frankly, I just want to see what happens to people who pick the other configurations that weren't in the movie.
Yeah. lot more you can do with this, and I
Yeah.
really, really hope they do.
Yeah.
I really hope this is successful, because it's been a while since there was a Hellraiser movie worth watching, and I'm so glad it exists now.
Yeah.
You know
I really,
what's funny? You know when you're talking about the fourth movie in the space station sucks?
Yeah.
I believe Voight, the guy that plays Voight, really likes that one. Just a fun thing to know. Yeah, he's like, they made
The
it
space
dark
one's my
sci-fi.
favorite.
Like he's super pumped about it
on.
being horror. I just thought it was really funny. It just reminded me of that. You thinking they all suck, and yet Voight's like, woo, sci-fi space station, nice.
He had his torture coming to him.
Oh God, Jesus,
He earned the sensations he received. I gotta watch them. I mean, just our like back to back of Hellraiser 2 and then this Hellraiser 2022. I'm just fully Hellraiser pilled. It's all I've been thinking about since we watched the second one for Swimfans. I just want to watch them all.
Godspeed, Josh McKenzie.
Oh wow, all of them. Man.
There's a lot.
Okay,
You're
I want to
better-
watch
you're-
some.
You're better than me.
I want to watch some. I want to watch some more.
You should watch Hellworld. That's the MMO rave one.
Oh Christ.
Okay, watching all the Hellraiser movies, that's choosing the lore configuration.
Oh my God, that's the hell you get.
I think that's a good place to end it. Do you guys have any final thoughts about Hellraiser 2022?
Hell Priest,
Watch it.
call me. I want to
Girl,
beg you
girl.
for salvation, and I want you to not give it to me.
yeah.
We can cut that.
Watch it. Please watch
Yeah.
it. Give it money. Please give it money. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, between this and Prey, I don't know like financial stuff. I really hope that whatever it is that Hulu does with like, successful reimaginings like Prey and like this, I hope it works, because it would be a shame if they died on these streaming platforms. That's I guess my only note is this could have done amazing in theaters because it's a good fucking movie,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Deep
gotta watch-
Water as well. That was a
Yeah.
straight to
Yep.
Hulu
Exactly.
one, and that was
Exactly.
way too good for that.
And this reminds me, Terrifier 2 is apparently doing really good in the box office. It's made like over
Nice.
over $2 million, I think. Like, isn't that
Okay,
I
I gotta
tried to
watch
go
that.
see it, and there's
apparently
just like
it's been-
no screenings in New York. It's really
there's
annoying.
there's some here. I guess it's making people sick. Like it
Yes!
is. It is like wow. Like a
Okay,
lot's going on in it.
I gotta see
I'm about
it.
to Google it. Yeah, I gotta see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my final word is after this conversation, I think I'm gonna bump up my Letterboxd score another half star. This movie fucking owns.
Yeah, it's real. I really like it.
Oh, so good. It was so good.
Yeah. Danielle, thanks for coming back on to talk about more Hellraiser with us.
Oh, nobody I know wants to talk to me about it, so thank you.
So long. Bye.
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 But